Hi, I'm Old Sneelock. Welcome to another episode of Old Sneelock's Workshop. Well, I spent most of Saturday and a good part of Sunday outside mowing the yard and just having a good weekend. So I didn't get a whole lot done on the toolbox. This morning I'm going to take the dual action sander and sand down these plugs that I put in there. It's not a requirement, but I think it makes it look a lot better. It'll make it easier to put the metal band, which will cover the wooden plugs, but it'll make it so that the board fits in a little better. I'm using the same old boards because I like to keep some of the feel of the old toolbox, but I do have to do some repairs because the boards, they've seen a lot of years. So we're going to be fixing these up and then doing a little bit of fitting and polishing before I assemble them. Once I assemble them, I'll fill in the nail holes and try and make this work a little bit better and handle some of these loose pieces on the end. I have some wood hardener, which works really good, and I'm going to put that on there too. It soaks into the wood, penetrates and stiffens it up, makes it a lot more durable. So we'll be using that. But for right now, I'm going to make some noise. One of the things I like about this dual action sander, it has its own little dust collector. I get very little dust in the area, and since I'm out in the garage with the doors open, I don't need to have dust collection. I'm going to try it without the dust mask. If I see that I have a problem, I'll put it on, but I prefer not to work with that big thing hanging over the top of my head. And you're going to notice I'm not wearing hearing protection. This thing's a little loud, but I'm not wearing my hearing aids today, so I don't hear it. When I ran the sander over the top, the head popped up as shiny. These might be tacks. They're little carpet tacks. I bet they were used to hold the canvas down. Now, when I took the canvas off, it wasn't held in place by the tacks. So this was probably an earlier iteration of having the canvas on there, and the canvas was changed at some point. But I don't want to have them in there, so we're going to take them out. and not wanting to come. There. 3 little tacks gone. Those go over in the scrap pile. I've got about a cup full of screws and nails that I pulled out of here so far. Toolbox is going to be a lot lighter when I'm done. Now, I don't have to take a whole lot off of this. I just want to get those wooden plugs down flat with the surface and clean up the part a little bit. I really like this little workmate. It makes it very nice to do this kind of job. Now these kind of dings and splinters and things I'm not going to take out of there. That's part of the history of the box. I'm going to make it so that I don't pick up splinters every time I pick the darn thing up though. There. That's better. Certainly wasn't suffering from a lack of hardware. Sadie! Oh, there you are. Here, Sadie. Good girl. You ready to go in the house? You want to go in the house? Okay, go get your drink of water and a bone. Good dog. Yes, good dog. Now all these boards, at least this edge of these boards, gets covered with canvas. So I don't have to be real fussy about condition of that. But it's just a good idea to make sure you got everything straight and square and cleaned up and all in a reasonable condition before you go forward with it. Some of the ever-present paint spatter. Interesting to note that some of these miters aren't exactly square. And that could be because the ends of the toolbox aren't exactly square either. These will be going back onto the same place that they came off of. So hopefully they're going to match up and go back together and look just as good as they did before. Now I'm going to get the big toolbox part up here and sand on that a bit. Now once again, all this is covered with canvas. So the work I'm doing here is just making sure that it's a good flat surface to work with. Since I want to make this lock work again, I'm going to have to reset this latching mechanism, I'm sure. At least I did on Pandora's toolbox, or at least I did on Pandora's box. Because I'm going to be using the cabinet lock that originally was used on this toolbox. It won't be on the job site. I don't need to protect it against vandals. But because I'm going to be using this lock again, I will more than likely have to reset some of the positions on these parts. And I don't want to put paint all over them. I'm going to clean them up, make them look nice. So I'm going to remove this now, because otherwise it'll get painted on and just in general hammered. I think I can just touch up the inside of this by hand. Yeah, this had a little shim in there, a little piece of wood shim in there from where somebody put it on before. A couple little notches in there for these wooden pieces. This was set by somebody who knew what they were doing. Yep, removed a little wood there for these two bosses, and then this is a shim that they had in underneath there. So when this gets all cleaned up, I'll have re-drilled and plugged these screw holes like I did for the sheet metal, or for the metal band on the outside, and get this a good solid seat in there so that it holds well. This is a very nice period lock, and I think it'll add quite a bit to the authenticity of the toolbox. If you have any suggestions for a new video, questions about today's video, or any of the other videos on the channel, just drop a note in the comments. You know I read them all. And while you're here, why not hit the subscribe button?